If you've ever taken your really expensive night vision and looked at a bright light to make sure it's auto-gated, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If that bright light you looked at was the sun, also go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. The comment section is non-existent, so yeah. Before we get into it today, I want to take a quick moment to say thank you to one of our sponsors, Salt City Gun Company. You can use coupon code Daynoodles down below to get $50 off the order of a PRG P14. Also, guys, don't forget we're giving one of these units away. The info to that will also be down below in the description on how you can check that out. If you want to support me, right now the storefront is not up, but there will be a link down below on how you can support me and get stickers or patches to show that you don't know how night vision works, just like me. And with that, let's get into it. So I get a lot of questions about how to set up a rifle, specifically an AR-15, to use with night vision. And I've come across a couple different schools of thought, and I've been talking and working over the years with my own personal technique and preferences, and I've come to narrow it down to 3 things other than the gun and ammunition that is required to effectively use night vision. Those 3 things are pretty simple. The one you might not think is not 100% necessary, and it might not be, but I highly recommend it, especially if you're going to be using a gun in a duty capacity. Those first 2 things that are pretty common sense is an IR laser. Pretty standard. You would use that to be able to quickly aim with your night vision. You can see the infrared laser through your night vision. The other thing is the IR illuminator. It's essentially a flashlight that'll throw out a flood or a beam of light like a flashlight would, but it's only in the IR spectrum, so it's only visible through your night vision. The last thing that I highly recommend everyone get, if they don't already have it, is a visible flashlight. You might be thinking, I won't be using a visible flashlight if I'm using my night vision, and that's exactly the point. You have to have a visible flashlight if something were to happen through your night vision. If you had say a damaged lens, or the battery died, or you lost it entirely, you're no longer combat effective if you cannot see in the dark. So the only other alternative is to use a visible flashlight. So with that in mind, let's take a couple looks at some options you can do. One of the first options here is one of the more budget-friendly options. This is a Steiner Octal and a Surefire Vampire light. This is the M600 series Vampire. So this is one of the more budget-friendly options. You can pick the Octal up for around $350, $400 new, even cheaper used, and the Surefire Vampires I've seen anywhere from $250 to $350 depending on where you look, and once again even cheaper on the second-hand market. So what the Octal is it's a Steiner laser, and it is just an IR laser. They also have visible lasers, but visible lasers aren't that useful in my opinion outside of a couple different circumstances like wearing a gas mask or something along those lines. So this is just an IR laser, pretty simple. It has a momentary feature, then an on feature. So normally you would leave it in a momentary setting, and then you have your pressure pad, and then you also have your IR illuminator and white flashlight with your Surefire Vampire. It has a setting where you can pull it out and turn it on from white light. So right here it's set to white light, and then 2 clicks over and it'll turn to IR, and essentially you cover both your bases. Now, the one main disadvantage to this system is you can't quickly switch from IR light to white light. So if you're in a situation where you immediately need to go and go from using your IR illuminator to your flashlight, this is not the most ideal setup, but it is one of the more budget-friendly setups out there. So it is something to consider, especially if you're just looking to get into night vision. This is a completely viable option in my opinion. Another option you can use that I don't have in front of me at the moment is the B.E. Myers Mall. that specific unit has an IR laser and illuminator built in, as well as a visible laser, and they're all slaved together, so it's very simple, and you mount it. But what it does is it mounts on a 45-degree cant instead of being on the 12 o'clock position on your rifle. And it also has built-in pressure pads. So what that will force you to do is to maybe not get your visible flashlight mounted as high up as you typically want it to be on a rail. You would have to mount it in the old school 9 o'clock position, or you can do something along the lines of mounting it at the opposite 45 degree from the from the B.E. Myers Mall. Now, this is my personal setup. As you can see, I've gone for the more traditional PEC 15, and I have the PEC 15 has an IR illuminator here, the IR laser and visible laser on this side, and my white light is here. So this is a pretty compact setup. I'm using the Arasaka PEC 15 Surefire Scout mount, and what that allows me to do is to mount the light as high up as I can and as close to my PEC without interfering with anything, which is a very nice mount. Another thing that I have that is very specific to me with the PEC 15 is the rail scales leaf, and that allows me to not negate having a front iron sight, and is the most efficiently cut out way to allow me to put a front iron sight and have a PEC 15 at the same time without wasting as much space. So another thing that I have here is a Surefire dual pressure pad. I highly recommend them for any night vision setup when you're going to use it in this configuration with a Surefire light or similar with any standard IR illuminator / designator. Another simple thing that often is forgot that can be used with night vision is a red dot. It is another alternative that you can use if your IR laser is down. You can aim through a red dot. Now this setup right now is a lower 1/3 coat witness Scalar Works mount, which I can look through my night vision through this optic at this height, but it's not the most ideal thing. There are a couple different mounts like the 1.93 mounts. Those are nice. Those get it up a little bit higher. The Knight's Armament mount, those are sit at pretty high, and then the new Unity tactical mounts. I have seen those, and I have played with them very limitedly, but those look like they might be the way to go from now on. So I might be upgrading to that in the very near future. But right now, my Scalar Works works just fine in a pinch. Another thing that I highly recommend to go with a night vision gun is some sort of vertical grip to allow you to consistently know where to stop your hand. Right now I'm using a Rail Scales Crave. This is just more or less a reference point, so I know I can consistently grip my gun at this spot to be able to activate all the controls consistently. But you could also use a broom handle vertical grip or whatever. This is just, I like to keep it as low profile as possible, and this is the smallest grip I've found that'll work for my needs. But whatever you want to use, a KAC broom handle all the way to the mag pulls or whatever vertical grip, whatever angled foregrip that you want to go ahead, I'd highly recommend also using for a night vision gun. Another thing, if you can, not everyone I understand can or wants to get NFA items, but a suppressor is definitely something that's going to be useful with night vision. It helps reduce the muzzle flash that you do have, especially on a shorter barrel, and it'll also reduce the noise, and that is also just generally nice to have. So that's basically my night vision setup. So if you have any questions or any alternatives to setting up for your gun for night vision, I definitely would like to hear them. And that's all I have for you today.